Hi there. I'm in Lower Saxony, so near Hanover, northern Germany. I want to tell you a story today. True story. Medieval story. But before I do that, I want to tell you what I'm smoking. So, smoking some, well, I think, underrated tobacco. Interesting tobacco. I'm going to show you that. I'll tell you how that is related to the story. So, if it is at all. So, and this would be the Ascanian. So normally it comes in a tin or in a bag. So then, this Ascanian tobacco. This is done by Dun Tobacco. It's a German company. And well, it's a ready rub Virginia Perique mixture. So nothing too complicated, nothing really fancy. But when it comes to Virginia tobacco, well, these folks from Dun Tobacco, they really know their stuff. So I think, so that's for me. So perhaps that's the finest company that we have here in Germany when it comes to Virginia tobaccos. So many of these fine blends, let's say from HU tobacco, they are done by Dun Tobacco and then distributed by HU. So I think the dock worker or Flanagan. So several of those tobaccos. So they're really into the Virginia stuff, especially when it comes to flake tobacco, ready rub, and that will be a ready rub. And the two versions of that Ascanian. So you might wonder where the name comes from. So Ascanian, sounds like a strange name. So well, the Ascanians, there was a noble family, yeah, of influence, powerful noble family here in northern Germany during Middle Ages. So, and since I won't want to speak today about noble families a little bit today, not in general, but about two families in specific. So I thought this Ascanian, that is a proper smoke here at this old castle side. So, and this, I prefer the castle mixture. So difference between, so they have two different mixtures of that. So one is the Riverside, I think, and the other one is the castle mixture. So one is with 5% Perique and the other is with 10% Perique. And they use really good stored, and even matured Virginia for that. So they matured that for 3 years, I think. 3 to 5 from Zambia, if I'm correct. So that's really fine Virginia. It's really carefully selected, and they really know about their stuff when it comes to Virginia. I'll show you the tobacco. Even, well, there's nothing so special about that. It's a ready rub. Well, a really fine blend. So has enough strength. You can feel the Perique, the pepper notes of that, and I think it's kind of underrated. You don't see this blend very often in the shops or wherever. So even those shops who have Dun Tobacco on the shelf, which not every shop in Germany does, because, so for example, Ronnie, he doesn't have Dun Tobacco on the shelf. So, but that is related not to the quality, but I don't know, to the percentage the owners or the shop gets out of that as a distributor or as a seller. So that's selling politics or whatever. So that should be our interest. So you can order that stuff online. When you do, keep in mind that I think 50 gram of that is 12 euros. I don't know, 80. So it's not that it's not that cheap tobacco, but if you order that in 250 gram bag, So you're gonna end up on the 50 gram in the end at, I don't know, €9 or something. So if you order that in 250 gram, that would really be a good deal, I think. So that's a very fair price. €9 per 50 grams. So that could be a daily smoke. You can reach out and reach out. You never get bored of that simple mixture. So good Virginia, really good Virginia, and some Perique. So can't really go wrong with that. So perhaps you might give it a shot. So wouldn't do any harm. So Ascanians, yeah, a noble family around here in the region, powerful. So, but this side where I'm standing at, so you see this castle here on this side. Well, not really a huge castle. So actually this building, that's actually pretty new. So that's, I don't know, around 300 years, was built around 300 years ago. But before that, it was a castle there that was properly prepared for defense and for siege and so on. There was a reason for that. So the castle that dominated that small hill in the medieval times, that was the castle of Mandelsloh, family of Mandelsloh. Yeah, so this family in the late medieval times, that was known as robber knights. So they did robbing for a living. So well, you know, in the late medieval times, well, those times were difficult times for many of those small noblemen. They didn't really know where to get money from to get everything paid. Even the noblemen there have to pay their bills, the debts. So all the warriors have to be paid, and the land and the castle itself, I don't know, everything. So, and they rob people coming through the region. So, but times, well, you know, times they had changed. So there was a lot of trade going on between several major cities. Let's say Bremen and other major players in the region. So they did a lot of trade, and well, it wasn't really proper to do robbing for a living. So it was just disturbing all the trade they're doing here. So Dietrich of Mandelsloh, that was the name of the robber knight in the late 14th century. So, and then 1383, I think it was, around that, middle of the 80s, another duke, Duke Albrecht. He was a Welsh, Duke Albrecht. He came here in this region, yeah, just to put that castle under siege, and to bring the family of Mandelsloh, and especially the robber knight Dietrich of Mandelsloh down, to bring him down, to put an end to all that, that robbery, stealing here, robbing and stealing here in the region. Yeah, of course, well, he had different reasons for that. Well, it's all about power and money and influence in the region. So, well, he came here with an army. So when we're talking about armies in the Middle Ages, well, that wouldn't be thousands of men. So we're talking about 300 men, around 300 warriors that Albrecht brought here. Well, you know, there's a saying in the Middle Ages: 3 men, this is a gang of robbers; 30 men, this is war. So and that is about what Dietrich of Mandelslaw, what he had in his castle, around 30 warriors. So, but he had the advantage of a place, a site with really huge defense capability. So there was water around and the castle itself and so on. And of course, the army that Albrecht brought, they didn't come unprepared. You can be sure of that. So they came with heavy artillery, best artillery that medieval times knew. So heavy stone throwers, stone throwing engines. So they built that up. So they did a ring of siege here around the castle, around perhaps 500, 600 meters from the castle, and they began to fire with the artillery. So that means day and night, throwing stones, throwing fire, even some kind of explosives. So barrels filled up with oil, and even more disgusting things. So dead animals in a barrel, stuck for a month, and throwing that, just hoping that yeah, they're all getting ill and sick in the castle, and just I don't know, just wanted to put an end to that themselves, giving up the castle. So yeah, that's war, guys. Everything that is at hand is used then. You can be sure of that. So well, what Dietrich, the Lord of Mandelslaw, he wasn't known as a quitter, or someone giving up that easily. So yeah, he stuck in the castle, and he had some heavy stone throwing engines himself. By the way, very good friend, brother named Mark. He sent me the most kind gift. So small scale model of a throwing engine. Thanks a lot for that, Mark. So much appreciated. So, and well, he sent me much more. So tobacco is really hard to get tobacco. So thanks a lot, Mark, for that. So so much appreciated. So, and those stone throwers, so they used also on the side of the Mandelslaw castle. So they're throwing out perhaps their own ammunition, but also what's coming in. So what's coming in, going out again with the stone thrower. So, and how did that all end up? So that is the question. So, but to answer that and to talk about Albrecht, I'm gonna switch the side. So there is another place I wanted to show you, an interesting place, I think. This is around 500 meters from that point, and perhaps we can continue the story there. So stay tuned. No, there's no commercial coming. What do you want? Is that your place? Oh. Yeah, so back again as promised. Well, we're now around 500 meters from the castle of Ricklian, that was owned by the Mandelslow family, the Robber Knights, and we're now here on a small hill. And when Duke Albrecht, when he came here with his army, around 300 warriors and his heavy stone throwers, he probably, we don't have any real proof for that, but that's just the logic of the territory here. So he probably used this small hill for whatever necessary. So let's say to watch out on the territory, on the battlefield and so on, and perhaps to put up some of his own stone throwers. And that could explain what happened next. So he was throwing heavy stones into the castle and back, so both sides, they've given each other nothing, so they just tried everything. Well, this guy, I don't know, he doesn't use the gear shift. Perhaps he doesn't know that even exists. Well, yeah, you know, that's 5%'s curse. So we are here near a street. There's a street today. There's a street nearby here. So we don't know in the past. So there might have been a way here for trading and so on. And there might have been a very small, minor place here, fortification to control that or whatever. So anyway, but what happened next was that Albrecht, I have a picture of Albrecht. So that's Albrecht. That's a medieval picture of Albrecht. It's not contemporary really, but well, it may be close or whatever. And then on the stone there's Albrecht too. So and if Albrecht's on the stone, you might already have an idea what happened next. So Albrecht, he was around his troops in his camp probably when a heavy stone just fall out of the sky and just hit him hard and just smashed his leg. So he wasn't dead immediately. This poor guy, he suffered 8 weeks, around 8 weeks, until he finally died. So gangrene perhaps, infection of his wound, whatever. Well, you know, in those times, so perhaps today we could have saved his life, but in those times options were limited, let's say that. So he died, but nevertheless the battle was won. The castle of Mandelslow has fallen, and the Robber Knights, they were brought down by Albrecht's men, by the 300 men, and the heavy war engines, of course. So contemporaries, they just put up that stone in his time. So the siege was 1385. Just watch the stone again. And what they did was they took the stone that actually killed Albrecht, and they put that up on that memorial. So just to remember Albrecht. Yeah, they put that up on the memorial. The little shelter house here, this little protection, that was built, I don't know, centuries later, so just to protect the memorial itself. Yeah. And there's another part of the story. Another part. And perhaps that would have hurt Albrecht more than being killed on the battlefield, for sure. So, medieval times, those times were different. So leaders, well, it's always about power up to now, so but leaders, during the battle, they joined the army. many of them, at least the smaller leaders, so in the region, let's say, they joined the army, so to make sure everything is going all right, and as they wanted the siege, but on the other hand also to earn the respect from the fighting men. So that was important. And dying in battle, that was honorable, and life was short anyway, so death was around. That was an option every day. So but to die at the battlefield, hit by a stone of a stone thrower, or by an arrow, or something like that, so not in single combat, during the heat of the battle, so that was honorable. But being killed beside that during the battle, that wasn't an honorable thing for a leader. That's nothing songs are written about and stories are written about. So, but just to put a top on that, legend has it. So Dietrich of Mandelson, the robber knight, he had a daughter, Sophie was her name, and the legend has it that she pulled the trigger on the war engine to throw the stone that actually killed Ivan. So, and this was most dishonorable story at all. So, a knight, a lord, in front of his army, being killed by a stone coming out of the sky, thrown by a girl. So, the daughter of the enemy just killed him. That was the legion. Well, that's just a legion, of course. So, we have several of those legions. Whenever somebody is hit by a stone throw, the legion has it that, I don't know, 2 old women pulled the trigger, or I don't know, the old grandmother, the aunt, or the daughter in this case, so Sophie, she pulled the trigger on that. Well, that's just a myth. Yeah, that was just to dishonor him. Yeah, I think that's mainly it for today. Yeah. Another story. Now, what true story? Medieval story. You know, all this region, this is full of those stories. You just have to watch out for them. So, that's just a small village here. Small village, Ricklingen, so near Hanover. Yeah. So every village has a small story. Hope you enjoyed that. Perhaps you might give the Ascanian a shot. I don't know if it is in honor of the Welfs, the noble families, or because you enjoy. Just because you enjoy. I think that's the most important reason at all. Yeah, perhaps you give it a shot. I hope you all are well. Hope you all are well. So take care, guys, and perhaps see you again. Cut that shit.